She inadvertently called me during her night out with friends, and every word fractured my trust. The clock struck 11:23 p.m. when my phone began to vibrate as if it were experiencing a violent convulsion. Amanda's name illuminated the screen in striking bold white letters. She was meant to be out with her friends, engaging in the myriad activities that women partake in when they choose to overlook the presence of their husbands. I allowed it to buzz several times before finally answering. I felt no concern that I held no suspicions. Fatigue enveloped me. Exhausted to the core. A weariness that stems from placing your unwavering trust in another, investing every fiber of your being over the years, all without the expectation of proof or recompense. As soon as I grasped it, an unsettling feeling washed over me. Not incorrect in the sense of an urgent crisis, incorrect in a manner that suggests. A knot formed in my stomach, and bile surged up my throat before my mind could grasp the reason behind it. The cacophony of sounds enveloped the space, overwhelming in its intensity. Echoes of joyous mirth. A distant sound of glass shattering echoes through the air. The relentless thump of a wretched club anthem reverberates through my mind. And the sound of Amanda's voice, resounding. Negligent. Remarkably distinct. Have you ever noticed something amusing? Her words tumbled out in a muddled haze. It was as if the very essence of tequila flowed through her words, each syllable dripping with a tantalizing allure. He believes I'm spending time with Jenna and those other tedious individuals. A male voice responded to her. Rich with mirth. You're quite the troublemaker, aren't you, unfavorable? She laughed softly, intoxicated by her own malice. I am a master of deception. And then, for heaven's sake, the damp, slapping noise of her lips meeting his. I clutched the phone firmly to my ear, the pressure intensifying to the point of discomfort. My hands began to quiver. Yet, I found myself unable to end the call. I craved to absorb every word. Each. Decayed, indeed, he is likely at home at this very moment. Exuding an air of sweetness, anticipating my arrival like an eager, innocent pup. She curled her lip in disdain. Utterly disappointing. I could perceive their movements, garments in motion. Her breaths grew more labored. His voice descended into a hushed murmur. Do you think he remembers that I was in his car last month? My body became tense. My jaw clenched with such intensity that I feared I might shatter a tooth. I hoped this was merely a jest of sorts. An unfortunate jest. Nothing short of the extraordinary. Yet, the nonchalant malice woven into her laughter revealed the stark reality. They were chuckling at my expense. As I lingered at home, my thoughts drifted to her, reveling in the camaraderie of cosmos and whispered secrets. For a continuous span of 6 minutes. My wife unwittingly broadcast her treachery straight into my ear as if it were a damn live performance. In those fleeting 6 minutes, the man I once was, the one who held faith in her, in our shared existence, faded away, leaving only echoes in that living room. As the call abruptly ended, I remained seated, fixated on the lifeless phone display. The stillness resonated more profoundly than the pulsating beats of the club ever could. I held back my tears. I refrained from screaming. For an eternity, I lingered in a moment steeped in toxicity. As if the cosmos had pressed a pause button on my existence. A peculiar chill seeped into my very bones that night, not the sort that can be dismissed with a cozy blanket or a soothing hot shower. The sort that transforms your very essence. I remained blissfully unaware that this was merely the beginning. Amanda was poised to reveal the profound depths of the betrayal rabbit hole. This situation transcended mere infidelity, it delved into the essence of her true self. A stranger to me. A person I had yet to meet. Yet, all of that lay still in the future. At this moment, it was solely I. And the thunderous clamor of a heart fracturing into countless sharp fragments. Rest eluded me that night. I made no effort to feign any attempt. I remained in the same position on the couch, phone clutched tightly, my gaze fixed on the door as if I were a predator poised to pounce on unsuspecting prey. With each fleeting minute, my blood simmered with increasing intensity, and my thoughts descended into deeper shadows. As the clock struck midnight, the hour slipped into 1 a.m., and then 2 a.m. followed in its wake. At 2:37, the front door let out a soft click. Amanda entered, her heels echoing against the wooden floor in a disordered symphony, the air thick with the scent of low-grade vodka and high-priced deceptions. Her makeup was a chaotic blur, hair a tempest of disarray, dress creased in a manner that twisted my stomach in knots. At first, she was completely oblivious to my presence. She was too engrossed in her own laughter, lost in a fit of glee that seemed almost mad. As her gaze finally met mine, a jolt of surprise coursed through her entire being. "Goodness, Jason, you startled me. What brings you to sit in the shadows, embracing the solitude in such an unusual manner?" Her words tumbled out in a haze. I remained silent, not at this moment. I simply gazed at her, absorbing every repulsive detail. The lipstick streaked across her chin, the love bite blossoming on her neck like a mark of passion. It was at that moment she committed her initial error. She attempted to brush it aside. She flung her purse onto the table and collapsed onto the couch across from me, her legs sprawled out, exuding an air of carefree abandon. She remarked, attempting to sound nonchalant, that the evening with the girls had been quite the adventure. "Survival was never an option for you." She chuckled, the fury within me crystallized into a chilling and deadly resolve. I retrieved my phone, navigated to the call log, and turned the screen to face her. Her smile wavered. "You reached out to me this evening," I replied, my voice calm and unwavering. Excessively stable. 6 minutes that I was privy to it all, Amanda. In that fleeting instant, I caught a glimpse of her true visage. The one she kept hidden from my gaze. Panic surged, raw and unrefined, flickering across her features before she forcefully donned the mask once more. "You're being dramatic," she snapped, her arms crossing defiantly. It was merely a playful exchange of glances and words, innocuous. It's a common occurrence for many when they indulge in a drink. Innocuous, the word reverberated in my mind with the sharpness of a gunshot. I leaned in, resting my elbows on my knees, my voice maintaining an unsettling calmness. "Pray tell, Amanda, is it customary for you to engage in flirtation with your lips near another gentleman's neck? Do you often refer to me as pathetic while engaging in that activity?" She let out an exasperated sigh, her eyes drifting upward in a dramatic gesture. She truly rolled her eyes. "Oh, Jason, must you really act like such a petulant child? If only you could bring a spark of excitement, perhaps I wouldn't seek amusement in other places." There it stood, a presence unmistakable. The dagger, nestled between my ribs, turned with a grin. I reclined, taken aback by the sheer ease with which she wielded her cruelty. All those years, every "I love you," every "you're my soulmate," they held no significance. Nothing at all. Particles carried by the breeze, unbelievable, I whispered. Amanda rose to her feet, teetering a bit on her heels. "Whatever," she remarked, "develop some courage. This union has long since ceased to thrive, you simply failed to perceive it, ensnared as you are in the trivialities of your own existence." Her words hung in the air, heavy with the weight of unspoken judgment, as if I were the embodiment of disappointment itself. As if I owe her an apology. She pivoted, striding away from me, her heels echoing like gunfire down the corridor to our bedroom, the very space we once occupied together without a moment's hesitation. I failed to grasp the concept that I chose not to engage in a dispute. I remained seated, gazing at the spot she once occupied, a profound sense of loss resonating within me as something essential broke apart. In that moment, a chilling realization washed over me. Her betrayal went beyond the physical realm. Her feelings for me were absent. Perhaps she never did. The revelation did not bring me to tears. It ignited a fire of fury within me. It rendered me perilous. For the first time since that call, a stark blade of understanding pierced through the fog of uncertainty that had enveloped me. I had reached the end of my patience. Tomorrow, Amanda would discover that I was not the fragile little creature she believed she could trample upon. the morning no longer feels the same. Silence reigned, thick and suffocating, enveloping the house in a heavy shroud, devoid of the cheerful melodies of birds or the gentle caress of sunlight filtering through the curtains, as if a storm cloud had taken residence within the walls. Amanda lay unconscious in our bed, occupying her usual side. Of course that I lingered at the threshold, observing her slumber, a mysterious figure nestled within my linens. Her makeup smudged on the pillowcase, a subtle mark of a hickey gracing her collarbone, one she chose not to conceal. Were I another soul, I might have shattered something in a fit of frustration. Had I been less astute, I might have slipped into bed next to her, feigning that nothing had transpired. Yet, I had transformed beyond that version of myself. As she lay there, drooling into my pillow, I reached for the leather notebook Amanda had gifted me on our 3rd anniversary, adorned with a sentimental inscription about eternity, and began to compile a list. This is not a catalogue of complaints. Not a collection of trivial schemes for retribution. A compilation of truths. She fabricated the truth regarding her company. She ridiculed me in front of her lover. She betrayed my trust in the most intimate way. She manipulated my perception when I brought it up. She held me responsible for her actions. As I revisited the words, a realization stirred within me, aligning thoughts and feelings in a harmonious way, chilly, concentrated, unyielding, that I had no intention of screaming, begging, or pursuing. I intended to lay her to rest, not through brutality, but through the unvarnished reality. I meticulously backed up every detail on my phone, the call log, the recorded conversation. Thank goodness I had a call recorder app running automatically for work calls, a twist of fate indeed. Then, I arrived at work that I reached out to Jenna, the friend Amanda said she was spending time with. Hello, I wanted to check in and see if Amanda arrived home safely last night. It seemed you all enjoyed yourselves at that club. Jenna's response arrived a mere 30 seconds later. What is this? I was under the impression she was with you. Last night, we chose to stay in. Bang. In a single moment, the alibi was shattered. I surged forward, propelled by a fervent sense of purpose. I have successfully opened a new bank account that I captured images of each precious item within the home. Commenced the meticulous task of duplicating receipts and statements. Scheduled a meeting with an attorney that I removed my name from every joint account I could manage, all without her needing to sign off. Each step meticulously planned. Each movement intentional. At 11:42 a.m., Amanda wandered into the kitchen, her hair a chaotic tangle, adorned in one of my old shirts as if it were a prized possession. She yawned, regal and unbothered, as if surveying her vast kingdom, blissfully ignorant of the encroaching walls that threatened to confine her. Morning, she said, her voice raspy, what brings you up at such an early hour? Your appearance is quite unappealing. I remained utterly still, my eyes unwavering. In the meeting, I wove my deception with ease. On a Saturday? Significant matter, she refrained from pressing. Naturally, she did not. Engrossed in her quest for the elusive orange juice, she paid little mind to the fact that it wasn't hers to claim. Observing her glide through the space as if nothing had transpired felt utterly surreal. It feels akin to observing a bomb leisurely counting down in your own living room. She offered no apology, she didn't bother to feign it. She merely presumed that I would move past it, as if she could hurl insults my way and I would respond with gratitude for the acknowledgement. It was in that moment that the weight of it all bore down on me the most. Amanda felt no remorse. Amanda believed she had no reason to apologize. That rendered the forthcoming events all the more effortless, because individuals of her kind do not merit graceful departures. They warrant a gradual, public, and unrelenting exposure. What about me? I had resolved not to save her any longer. That I intended to loosen the rope and observe as she ensnared herself within it. The most delightful aspect? She would remain blissfully unaware of what was about to unfold. Sunday morning seamlessly transitioned into Sunday afternoon. Amanda reclined in her home, embodying the essence of royalty as she scrolled through her phone, cradling a cup of coffee that felt almost too indulgent, lamenting her fatigue from the previous night's escapades. I hardly paid attention. I have just finished watching that. It resembled the sight of a fox frolicking amidst the remnants of a henhouse post-massacre. Conceited, negligent, foolish, I found myself in a position where no action was required of me. Unbeknownst to her, she was igniting the flames of her own existence, all the while clutching the matches tightly in her grasp. By noon, she was engaged in a FaceTime call, the bedroom door half closed as if she believed her actions were discreet. Her voice slipped into that saccharine, insincere tone I hadn't encountered from her in months. "Darling, I find myself longing for you already," she lamented, then a soft, melodic laugh escaped her lips. A laugh so insincere it set my teeth on edge. I captured it on tape. 37 seconds of Amanda presenting the facade she desperately attempted to conceal from me. Proof. At approximately 3 o'clock in the afternoon. She resolved that fresh air was essential and slipped away, likely to indulge in her affections for her companion once more, flawless. The moment the door crashed shut behind her, I shifted into high gear. I retrieved a concealed USB stick I had stashed away for unforeseen circumstances. Every hidden truth was packed into it: screenshots, audio recordings, and bank statements revealing enigmatic cash withdrawals during her yoga sessions. Each deception, each act of treachery. I was not merely gathering proof for a separation. Negative. Such a solution would be far too simple, excessively pristine. I desired for her to succumb to the very muck she had created. Thus, I embraced my creativity. I created duplicates. A solitary USB concealed within the confines of the vehicle. A single piece affixed within the lining of my work jacket. A single message dispatched to my brother, containing directives to unveil its contents should he remain without word from me for a week. Indeed, it may come across as a touch paranoid. One has yet to witness the blaze that ignites in Amanda's eyes when she finds herself backed into a corner. Subsequently, I reached out to her mother. Sweet, proper, and ever so judgmental, Beverly was the very woman who, for the first 5 years of our marriage, made it abundantly clear that I fell short of being worthy of her cherished little girl. On the third ring, she finally answered. Is that you, Jason? Ah, what a delight it is to receive your words. Delightful. Isn't that so? I maintained a calm and unwavering tone, serene. Greetings, Bev. Amanda has been facing some challenges recently, and I thought you should be aware of it. Perhaps she might benefit from a little encouragement. It's clear that she's been involved with someone else and has been deceitful about it. Deceased, stillness, not a single sound escaped. A frigid, numbing void. Excuse me, she said at last, her voice breaking like a fragile twig. You heard me, I spoke the words. I felt it was important for you to know that your daughter has become quite like her father. Indeed. That was quite the unexpected strike. However, I had long since moved beyond the facade of cordiality. I ended the call before she had a chance to reply. Released the devastation and turned my back on the explosion. Just 5 minutes later, Amanda's phone erupted with notifications, written works, conversations, additional writings. She burst through the front door with the force of a Category 5 hurricane, thrusting her phone toward me. What on earth did you say to my mother? Her voice pierced the air with a sharp cry. I remained rooted in place, arms folded, expression devoid of emotion. Is it just the truth, my dear? Isn't that what you always claimed to desire? Her gaze met mine as if she were encountering me anew. There is an absence of warmth. There is no love, only disbelief and an intense, bubbling animosity. Excellent. I aimed to unsettle her. I desired for her to whirl with such intensity that she lost all sense of direction. What truly resonates? The one that would truly break apart her carefully constructed facade? That is set to arrive tomorrow. On a Monday morning, with the dawn's first light. Amanda remained blissfully unaware. Sleep eluded me that night, once more. Yet it was no longer born from anguish, that vessel had long since departed. It was concentration, unwavering, precise concentration. Each step had been meticulously planned. Each domino stood in perfect alignment, poised for the gentle nudge of my finger to send the first one tumbling. Amanda lay beside me, feigning slumber, yet her breath betrayed her, jagged and strained, a silent testament to her unrest. She was aware. Not all things, unaware of the impending turmoil, she felt the earth begin to fissure beneath her stilettos. At 7 a.m. sharp, I donned my attire as if it were merely another Monday. A crisp button-down shirt, tailored slacks, and impeccably polished shoes, Amanda remained cocooned beneath the sheets, enveloped in silence, feigning indifference. Feigning a calm demeanor despite the fear that gripped her. Excellent, allow her to simmer in her own thoughts. I seized my car keys, but rather than making my usual commute to work, I navigated across town to her office building, a towering glass structure where Amanda moved with the confidence of a marketing deity. I orchestrated each moment with precision. At 7:45, I found a spot across the street, the USB drive pressing against my pocket, my gaze fixed on the lobby through the windshield. Rob, Amanda's boss, appeared with the precision of a well-tuned machine, coffee cradled in one hand, a Bluetooth earpiece firmly lodged in his ear. He embodied the ideal Mark, a noble figure marked by a disdain for scandal that surpassed even his aversion to taxes. At 7:50, I made my way across the street, entered the lobby, and inquired about him at the front desk. Respectful. Warm and inviting, expert. Just 5 minutes later, I found myself in his office. I made the most of my time. I let the USB fall onto his mahogany desk with the force of a grenade. All the details regarding Amanda's recent extracurricular pursuits can be found there, I stated calmly, including the instance where she utilized company time and resources to engage in domestic activities with her boyfriend. Rob stared at me, his eyes wide with disbelief, as if I had just struck him. What prompts you to share this with me? He inquired. I smiled, a genuine smile, so sharp it could draw blood. Due to the dissolution of our marriage, I thought it important to inform you before it casts a shadow over your company as well. I departed, leaving him in a state of stunned silence, unable to muster a reply. As Amanda glided into the office at 9 a.m., clad in her petite power suit and adorned with a practiced smile, the atmosphere felt as though it were constricting around her. Within mere moments, Rob called her to his office. I sat in my car across the street, peering through binoculars as if I were witnessing a private screening of the finest film ever crafted. Half an hour later, Amanda burst out of the building, her face flushed and her hands shaking, gripping a cardboard box filled with her belongings. Dismissed. Silence prevails. There shall be no outburst, simply an experience of profound, soul-crushing humiliation. Arrived chilled. It remained insufficient, not at this moment. I lingered until she arrived, her heels clicking against the floor, the box held tightly in her grasp as if it possessed the power to rescue her from the depths, before I unleashed the final revelation. The documents of dissolution. I placed them on the kitchen counter with the finality of a death warrant. Thick stack. Precisely trimmed, unyielding. Amanda stood there, her gaze fixed upon them, paralyzed as if caught in the relentless gaze of a predator. I signed them, I stated with a flat tone. Or I divulge everything to your acquaintances. Your kin. Perhaps even the nearby PDA, they have an insatiable appetite for scandal, don't they? For months, she had dedicated herself to volunteering at charity events, all in an effort to maintain that ideal image of the perfect wife, wouldn't you agree? Her mouth moved in a futile rhythm, reminiscent of a fish gasping for breath. For the first time, she was at a loss for words. I found myself unable to deceive. Unable to exert influence. At that moment, I possessed every advantage, she was aware of it. Tears brimmed in her eyes, perhaps crocodile tears, perhaps genuine, who could say? And she whispered softly. Jason, I implore you, can we not discuss this? Shall we converse? Now she wished to engage in conversation. After months of deception, stealth, and the humiliation inflicted upon me in secret, as if it were some twisted pastime, I nearly burst into laughter right in front of her. There's nothing more to express, Amanda, I uttered, my voice trembling like a comet caught in its own fear. Even I could feel it. You reduce this to ashes. I find myself merely gathering the remnants of what once was. She affixed her signature. Hands trembling. Mascara running, dignity bleeding out all over the kitchen floor. What about me? There was an absence of feeling. Free from remorse, without remorse. There is no sorrow. There shall be no room for doubt, only liberation. In the crisp air, a sense of pristine beauty enveloped her, a freedom unspoken. Amanda remained silent after the ink dried on the paper. No regrets. No explanation provided. It was a silence, broken and stunned, a rare moment that descends upon someone when they come to the profound realization that they are no longer the predator. They are the hunted. I gathered the papers, arranged them meticulously into a folder, and placed them on the counter, reminiscent of a finished business deal. No grand gestures. Without any theatrics. I refused to grant her the pleasure of a farewell address. Amanda lingered in the kitchen, her office attire a disheveled testament to the day's turmoil, mascara tracing lines down her cheeks like remnants of a fierce struggle, her fingers tightly gripping the meager box of belongings from her recently abandoned job. Every illusion she had ever crafted, marriage, career, reputation, lay in smoldering ruins around her. I strode out the door without a single glance behind me. The air beyond the door was biting, invigorating. It exuded a freshness that had been absent for years. The decay that had tainted my existence was at last being expelled from my very being. I set off without a clear destination, allowing the engine's gentle purr to resonate beneath my fingertips. The windows rolled down, the wind briskly awakening my senses. I anticipated a surge of melancholy to wash over me. A profound sense of isolation. Yet it never arrived. A peculiar, razor-edged tranquility enveloped the scene. It struck me somewhere near the edge of the city. I had not lost Amanda. I had misplaced a falsehood. As I drove into a diner nestled off the highway, a quintessential establishment with sticky tables and subpar coffee, I settled into a booth by the window. Here I am, with a greasy burger in hand, a steaming black coffee by my side, and a future that stretches out before me, limitless and inviting. As I savored my meal, my mind wandered to the remnants she had abandoned, every girl's night that served merely as a facade. Every family holiday, she wore a smile for my parents, shared kisses with me in public, and likely sent messages to her other lover beneath the table. In every instance of self-doubt, I questioned my sanity as I sensed the widening chasm between us, all memories now tainted. Each smile she offered, every softly spoken, "I love you," in the stillness of 2 a.m., every shared inside joke, it all seemed like an elaborate ruse. A deceitful scheme. An exhibition of skill and artistry. What could possibly be more disheartening? She was completely unaware that her actions could be perceived as misguided. In Amanda's realm, loyalty was a fool's game, kindness equated to vulnerability. What about love? Love served merely as a means to grasp a more fulfilling existence. In that moment, a revelation dawned upon me: her affection for me was never genuine. Not the person I truly was. She cherished the notion of me, the dwelling, the steadfastness, the future I presented to her, gleaming and pristine, as if served on a silver platter, and the moment she felt boredom creeping in, the instant the allure faded away, she discarded it with disdain. Myself. And chuckled as they went along. That was painful. Not because I longed for her, absolutely not, but because I had poured my entire self into her without reservation. And she accepted it as if it were inconsequential. Single use. Interchangeable. Yet, there was a fundamental truth that Amanda never grasped: certain fractures, once they occur, may never truly mend. They undergo a metamorphosis. She failed to shatter my spirit, she reshaped my very essence. More resilient. More challenging, more intelligent. The former Jason, the once trusting, loyal, and naive husband, had perished. Vanished, the transformed version of myself? I refused to expend another breath on anyone who viewed me as merely a contingency. I settled the bill, left some cash as a tip on the table, and stepped out into the biting cold, my head held high. Amanda is no longer present, enough with the charades. I will no longer offer apologies for the man I have become. The moment had arrived to commence the process of reconstruction, not alongside her. It is not meant for her. For my own sake, Amanda quickly understood that her descent from favor would not unfold in silence. The messages began to pour in initially. That evening, as I settled onto the couch in my modest new apartment, humble, compact, lacking in extravagance but undeniably mine, the notifications kept flooding in, relentless and unyielding. Whisper of excitement, Jason, I implore you to engage in conversation with me. You're making a mountain out of a molehill. This can be resolved, could you please make some adjustments to this? Was she attempting to mend the marriage, or was it her reputation she sought to restore? No, forget that, the sole concern for Amanda was mending her reputation. I chose not to respond. Not when she attempted to invoke guilt, not when she attempted to harness her fury. Not even when she attempted to entice him, sharing nostalgic photographs that once held significance. I had finished articulating the dialect of deception, however, it deteriorated further. Significantly more dire. By Tuesday, her small circle of friends was aware that it appears that when you confide in one boisterous individual, the truth has a way of disseminating rapidly, much like a raging inferno. Particularly tantalizing revelations, the sort that shatter the immaculate illusion someone like Amanda has dedicated her entire existence to crafting. It was Jenna who reached out to me first, that I sincerely apologize. I was completely unaware. We believed you two were, in a sense, the epitome of aspiration. This is utterly astonishing. Unbelievable? Negative. This was Amanda revealed, then arrived the repercussions of social media. Posts vanishing into thin air. Images fading away, status updates shifting from married to Jason to complete silence. Friends parting ways. Comments accumulating beneath aged photographs, insincere smiles, fabricated existences, counterfeit unions. That I observed the scene from the periphery, akin to a man witnessing his former home engulfed in flames, fully aware that there was nothing within worth preserving. Amanda attempted to put her own twist on it, naturally. She shared a lackluster tale about how, at times, two individuals simply drift apart and extend their best wishes to one another, portraying herself as the sorrowful protagonist in a romance that has taken a turn for the worse. Utter nonsense. I chose not to reply. No remarks were made. Chose not to correct her. For I was aware of the truth, and those who truly mattered would uncover it in due time, and so they did. Beverly, the self-righteous queen of her own domain, made an unexpected appearance at my new apartment, uninvited. There she stood in the biting cold, enveloped in her extravagant coat, her face a canvas of pallor and tension that I came dangerously close to slamming the door right in front of her. Nearly. Yet, a fragment of my being yearned to listen to her words. To gaze into the eyes of the woman who nurtured a monster. I'm so sorry, she whispered, her voice trembling. I'm uncertain about what transpired with her. I rested against the doorframe, arms folded, my heart heavy as a stone within my chest. Perhaps she had always been this way, I remarked. Yet you were so preoccupied with perfecting the surface that you failed to notice the decay lurking beneath. Beverly recoiled as if I had struck her. Excellent. I had no use for her sympathy, her guilt was unnecessary for me. I certainly had no need for her forgiveness. She departed in silence, without uttering another word.